Okay, so it is time to show you how we prune citrus. That's coming up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you here today. It's the beginning of February, and one of the first things that we actually finally get through from last year is our mandarins. So our mandarins, I'm going to link our daisy mandarin video here, been in front of this tree before, and we harvest off of this tree for a good 3 months or so, until about now. So we've been getting something every single day off of this, and they taste fantastic. Real seedy, but they taste amazing, so highly suggest a daisy mandarin. The tree itself, talk real quickly, we've done it before, but this is a tree that we got from RSI growers, and it does fantastic. We have multiple varieties of mandarins here in this little mandarin forest, and this is the only one that's been producing, and it's one of the youngest trees, so very, very good, produces at a young age and produces prolifically. So we're gonna do our final harvest. I think we're gonna do, we're gonna take you along with us. So let's do our final harvest together. Okay, so we have our final harvest. I'm gonna have Lori peek over this way. We've got the discards, so the ones that got holes in them, look like they might have peck marks and things like that are in the discard bucket, so not too many of those. And then we got, what, about half a wheelbarrow full of daisy mandarins, and oh my goodness, you guys, they taste amazing. But anyways, that's not why we're here today. What we're here today to do is talk a little bit about pruning citrus. So we've had a lot of questions on pruning citrus, especially from a lot of us here in Arizona. You know, the question is, when do I prune? How often? What do I look for when I'm pruning? What should the tree look like in the end? Lots of questions as far as citrus. So I guess first and foremost, let me just start out by saying you really probably don't ever really have to prune your citrus. There's really not a specific hard and fast rule as far as citrus pruning is concerned. Here in Arizona, you can prune citrus at any time. We wanted to show you our final harvest and go ahead and get this tree pruned before it's budding out. So that's something that we wanted to try to get accomplished, particularly with this tree, because the fruit is amazing. It's very productive, and so we want to kind of ensure that we get as much of that fruit that does bud out as we can. But really, you can prune it any time here in Arizona. A few things that we do look for. We do like to keep the middle of the tree cleaned out as best we can to keep branches away from the trunk. A lot of your citrus is going to have thorns on it, so anytime you have something scraping up against the trunk, that's never a good thing. We definitely will be taking, with this tree in particular, it's very low to the ground, and we've had a lot of our citrus on the ground, which is not good. You know, we're here at a farm, we've got rodents because we feed to our animals, and so we definitely have rodents here. We don't want to have fruit on the ground, just not a good thing. So we definitely are going to be taking up a lot of the branches, bringing the tree up as far as the foliage is concerned, getting anything that's up against the trunk, crossing branches, things like that, all that's going to be gone. So we'll definitely be looking at that. You know, we've got multiple plantings back here, and we want to try to keep the trees separate. You can see I've got this tree growing into this one, and we want to be able to get in here into the different varieties. So I'll definitely be ensuring that I have plenty of space to get around the tree and work around the tree. So I'll definitely be doing that. You know, a couple other things that you can think about. If Lori wants to scan over here to our lime tree. So our lime tree is right up against our chicken coop. So we've got our chickens in there, and somebody's peeking out at us wondering what we're doing. But one of the things when we're pruning this tree, which we've already come back through and done, is we, again, take it up off the ground. But because we have it growing over towards the coop, which is on purpose to give it shade, we basically cut a notch out of the tree there. So obviously we want to be able to get in back behind there real easily from both sides of this tree, so we'll do that. Another thing, looking back at our mandarin, it's growing up against our block fence, so anything that we have that's up against the fence, we'll cut that back because we don't want that getting damaged. But you know, that's about it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to be making cuts, so we're going to show you the different cuts that I'm making. If I run into something that I think is important to point out, I'll do that as we're going. Okay, so I wanted to take a quick break. So I'm probably about 50% of the way there. So you can see if Lori wants to go back towards the front, you see that front view. It looks butchered, but it's okay because it hasn't really started its growth yet for the season. That'll fill in nice and heavy, but I needed to get a lot of that stuff down off the ground. You can see I've got several pieces of fruit that we couldn't even see that were down underneath all that foliage that were growing right into the ground, just getting nasty. So now we can see underneath. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back around this side now. For the most part, I've gotten a lot of the branching up off the ground. I've still got a couple big branches back in this corner that are down towards the ground. I'll be getting those up. But I'm also going to be creating a little space here, so you see me make a walkway back into behind this tree. I want to be able to get through here completely. So as I'm going through, I'm going to be leaving branches that are pointing up. So any upward facing branches will stay, but I'll prune back and get a little pathway going back in here. So just wanted to show you that. Okay, so that's it. We've got this done. So I know it looks like a hack job because it kind of is, but we know this tree is very, very aggressive in its growth, and this will allow us to really train that up so we don't have as much on the ground. And you saw when we were doing our harvesting that we had a tremendous amount of fruit that was hanging and just pulling those branches down. So even these branches that I've left, like this guy here, he's going to get fruit out here on the end, and that's just going to pull that down. So it'll almost kind of be a weeping tree as it starts to grow back in. And then again, it's very aggressive, so it's going to fill back in here, and we can just make sure we don't have any fruit on the ground. That was really kind of my goal. And then the aftermath. So we talked a little bit about our harvest. So you see our harvest there, and then that is all the foliage. So that's a lot of fun putting through a chipper. Chippers, I have a hard time with those because it's hardwood, lots of green, but we will go ahead and chip all that up, probably put it right back down here on the ground to refeed this tree. So just want to thank you for joining us today. You know, if you haven't done so already, hey, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of things we cover. Obviously today we were talking about pruning a fruit tree, and we do talk a lot about fruit trees, but we also are a functioning farm. We have laying hens, we have broiler chickens, we have pigs that we raise for meat. We do a lot of things here. You know, I'm going to go ahead and link our Desert to Farm series. We've got 6 acres we're going to be moving on to, flat desert land right now that we're going to be turning into a functioning farm. Would love it if you would join us. If you haven't done so already, Instagram and Facebook, we're on there. Would love to see you there. And any questions or comments or any suggestions, we would love to see those down below. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. Okay, so it is time to get done with our that's going to be a do-over. See if I can figure out what I'm going to say. Hopefully the girls will keep their mouths down a little bit. Not going to happen. Yeah. We got pigs eating weeds, and they're whacking themselves in the face with it. It's kind of funny.